Welcome to the kidsministry.blog podcast. Every episode, we share ideas, tips, and resources to help your children's ministry thrive.
Okay, imagine this. You're in a room full of kids. You've got this $8 ukulele you found at a garage sale, and you are trying so hard to lead a song.
I can picture it already.
And just nothing. 18 kids are just staring at you. One kid is like methodically picking dried glue off his fingers. Another one just shouts, 42, in the middle of, Jesus loves me.
Right, because he's counting the ceiling tiles. That's a scene that feels painfully real for a lot of people.
And it was real for the author of the source we're looking at today. Mm-hmm. They were aiming for this big spiritual moment, and the kids were just looking for the nearest exit before snack time.
Well, what's so great about this piece is that it's basically a confession. It's about how this leader had to completely fail to figure it out.
And it all started with what they call the sit-still fallacy.
Yeah, this idea that, being physically still means you're being spiritually reverent.
For 3 years, that was the rule. Criss-cross applesauce. Hands in your lap. No wiggles.
Until the teacher got the flu.
Exactly. They show up, they're sick, they've got no energy to enforce the rules, and they basically just say, look, stand up, sit down, roll on the floor. I don't care.
And of course, that's the moment it all clicks.
It's unbelievable. One kid literally starts rolling across the floor like a log while they're singing, Our God is an Awesome God.
But he was singing louder than ever.
Why did that work? It seems like total chaos.
Well, it's a perfect example of cognitive load theory. Your brain only has so much bandwidth.
Okay.
And if a kid is using, say, 90% of their mental energy just to keep their body perfectly still,
there's nothing left for the actual song.
Zero. By letting them roll around, you free up their brain to actually engage. The author realized policing the wiggles was, policing the worship right out of the room.
But the wiggles were only half the problem. The other was language.
The language barrier is huge.
Yeah.
The author gives this great example. The kids thought the hymn It Is Well was about a Disney villain.
Or that He Reigns was about, the weather. Precipitation.
It's funny, but it's also kind of heartbreaking. When they asked the class what worship even meant, one kid said, pretending to like boring songs.
Oof, that hurts.
It really does. It shows the ritual is just compliance if there's no understanding. But that's where the author makes his brilliant pivot.
With Emma.
Exactly, with Emma.
So the teacher forgets to plan the songs, which is also very relatable, and just asks this girl, Emma, to pick one.
And she picks Happy Birthday.
Yeah. And it's not even anyone's birthday in the class. But Emma says her best friend's birthday is coming up, and she just wanted to thank God for making her.
And what happened?
They sang it, and half the class cried, like actual tears of joy.
Because it was real. It stopped being a performance, and it became an expression of actual love. That's the whole tension, isn't it? Control versus freedom.
It seems so. I mean, they really leaned into that with the instrument disaster.
The 2 a.m. Amazon purchase.
Yes. A huge bucket of cheap maracas arrives. The youth pastor apparently heard the noise from down the hall and came to check if there had been an incident.
But that chaos allowed the shy kids to participate. They could shake a maraca, even if they were too scared to sing.
And the flip side of that chaos is fascinating.
The quiet minute.
Tell us about that. Because they asked for 60 seconds of total silence, right? Which sounds impossible.
And it worked perfectly because it wasn't forced on them. They were given a reason, a mission. Think of one thing you're thankful for.
So it's agency.
It's all about agency. They own the silence just like they own the maracas.
I think the peak of that, though, was when the teacher just dropped the mask completely, had a terrible week, started crying in the middle of a song.
We all have this idea, I think, that leadership means being invulnerable. You have to have all the answers.
But instead of making things awkward, a 6-year-old just walked up and held the teacher's hand.
Because vulnerability creates safety. By showing that faith includes struggle, not just victory, the teacher gave them permission to be real, too.
So if we zoom out from the classroom, what's the big takeaway here?
It's about shifting the goal. It's not about modifying behavior. It's about facilitating a connection. The fancy curriculum, the videos, none of that matters as much as the authenticity of the leader.
It makes you wonder about the performances we all put on in our own lives, not just with kids.
It certainly does.
So here's a thought for you to take with you. We spend so much time as adults trying to look competent, to metaphorically do criss-cross applesauce. What if you stopped performing competence and instead just created space for that messy, honest connection? Even if it looks like singing happy birthday at the wrong time, how might that change the relationships in your own life?
A question well worth asking.
Thanks for diving in with us.
Thanks for listening. To find more ideas, tips, and resources, go to kidsministry.blog. We'll see you next time.